Hey, good evening. It's Storm Tracker 16 meteorologist John Hickey live in the weather office with you tonight for another one of these live updates. YouTube, our app, we're on Facebook. We're trying to be where you are. And a good time to give you an update as we're watching the storm system come in. You know, I mentioned it when we were doing our 7 o'clock newscast tonight on WNEP. I said, boy, you know, if you're like me, kind of checked out over the weekend, you know, had some family time, did whatever it is that you wanted to do because you know, maybe close the book on watching the news Friday night thinking, nothing to worry about. This weekend looks all right. No problems next week. And you flip on the news. Maybe it was this morning with Joe or Valerie. I'm not sure who was in. Or you were watching Kurt this afternoon. It was like, whoa, what happened? Now we're talking about snow? We sure are. You know, this system was originally supposed to track through upstate New York and has been slowly, or not slowly, but quickly shifting southward with its forecast track. And then today we were able to hone in on for you that it was going to be a very narrow corridor that was going to find 4 to 6 inches of snow. And just on the outside of that, by just a few miles, it was going to be an inch or two. And quickly after that, a whole lot of nothing. You're going to see that with our latest snowfall forecast update here that we have for you on this live. So let's jump to some of your maps. I want to show you what's doing with a couple of the camera views. This is what it looks like in Wilkes-Barre. Looks like maybe a couple of raindrops there on the lens as maybe things just getting going there. Our Jack Colkin at last check was going to be live for us tonight, I believe in Hazleton. Scott, is that still true? Jack's going to be in Hazleton tonight? Yep. He sure is. All right, so our Jack Colkin's going to show you the conditions live from Hazleton, which I can assure you are going to look a lot different than what they are right now in Wilkes-Barre. Some pretty heavy snow expected to be in there probably during at least the 11 o'clock broadcast and perhaps on our 10 as well. Here's the Williamsport camera, and yeah, snow is really cranking there now. Sorry for the flashes there, a little issue with our equipment, but I think you can still make out that it is thumping to beat the band. It looks like the roadway there, probably just down a blacktop and maybe just a wet road, but you can see the grass is quickly getting covered. So central Pennsylvania is certainly getting the brunt of things right now, and I want to show you, let's see, the Scranton camera, because we can, not a lot doing there yet. So things certainly, if you're in Scranton, things have certainly ramped up down to our south as well to our west. But in our immediate northern valley cities, really not a lot going on right now. I want to show you the latest snowfall forecast map. And I'm sorry, that's the 7-day, but let's get you the forecast snowfall map. And you can see it's a very, and I mean very, narrow corridor that is going to find these 4 to 6 inch snowfall totals. It extends from northern Clinton through much of Lycoming County, northern Columbia County, perhaps even northern Montour County as well, and southern Luzerne, and down into Carbon. So these are the areas that are going to be looking at those 4 to 6 inch snowfall totals. And, you know, elevation does play a bit of a role here, but, I mean, I think even the valleys in northern Columbia County, you know, you're still looking at some plain old snow out of this throughout the duration. So elevation may be a little less of a concern this go around. Also northern Northumberland County also getting in on this too. So Turbotville, McEwensville, Watsontown, a couple of the places that could come away with that 4 to 6 inch snowfall total. Light Street up through Orangeville, Stillwater, and Benton in Columbia County. You are squarely in that 4 to 6 inch snowfall band. Same for you, Glen Lyon, Nanticoke, up to Hazleton. All right, down through Mahanoy City into the Skook. You're probably going to be looking at that 4 to 6 inch snowfall total. McAdoo also into the 4 to 6 inches expected out of the system. Mackinac-Wa, Wapalapin, Berwick, also 4 to 6 inches of snow. Down through Carbon County, I would say Beaver Meadows, Tresco, Lansford, Summit Hill, Weatherly, Albrightsville, and up to Lake Harmony and Blakesley, also in that 4 to 6 inches of snow out of this. But you can see just a few miles is making a huge difference with this thing. You know, from Hazleton to Wilkes-Barre, there's not a lot of distance there. What, maybe 10, 15 miles? And you go from 6 inches of snow to maybe an inch. And then in our backyard, at least according to this latest update, I don't know that it's 0. I think we'll see flakes and maybe some slushy accumulation, but looks like it'll be under an inch. So that means if you head up through northern Lackawanna County, you're probably not looking at much at all. So, you know, I'm thinking of Lackawanna State Park. Probably not a lot happening up there for you out of this. You know, again, some flakes. Waverly, some flakes, you know, slushy inch of accumulation. Nicholson, not a lot going on for you. Same for Lake Harry. Okay, not a lot happening there. But Sullivan County, you're into that 4 to 6 inch zone, especially the southern half of the county. So Sonestown, Muncie Valley, Eaglesmere, maybe as far north as LaPorte. and then to World's End State Park, you're probably in that 4 to 6 inches. And then, again, you go northward from there, Dew Shore, probably not a lot doing for you, an inch or two. And then you get into southern Bradford County, and really not a lot happening there either. So this is a very location-dependent event. Talked about it earlier on our broadcast that it's going to be a very thin stripe of 4 to 6 inches of snow. Not a lot happening outside of it. Big thing right now would be the temperatures. We're in the low 40s in some of our valley cities. So even as this starts in the valleys, probably going to start as rain. You can see Hazleton, though, 35, so it probably starts as snow for you as soon as it starts to precipitate. And you can see probably snowing or precipitating so hard, temperatures plummeting and cold enough to support all snow. Cogan House Township through Williamsport. Again, all snow for you as temperatures have been pulled down enough. Trout Run, I'm sure you're in the same boat. English Center as well. Probably thumping to beat the band where you are. Winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings in effect. We'll show you where those are just so you get a general idea. Generally speaking, the warning areas get more than the advisory, but I'm going to show you here again with that snowfall map. It's just really all about that thin strip that's going to be looking at a lot of snow. It's really not so much advisories or warnings here tonight. This is what it looks like on radar, and it looks like it's doing something throughout a lot of the area, but probably not so much. Again, it's not even sprinkling in the WNEP backyard. Temperature sits at 40 degrees. I do want to show you where it is thumping. Again, Williamsport thumping. Let me look at some of those deep, dark colors here, indicative of some very heavy snow. It includes Williamsport, English Center, Trout Run. Again, back out through Cogan House Township and Jersey Shore, probably thumping pretty good there too. Just north of Lock Haven too, Clinton County. Don't want to leave you out. Thumping pretty good in Woolwich, Avis, probably snowing hard. Flemington, snowing pretty good there. And up near Heiner Mountain, too, thumping pretty good there as well. Again, indicative of some of these real dark colors that you see here on the map. We'll pull you further south, probably doing something in Bloomsburg. Maybe a little light rain or snow mix. I don't think it's thumping just yet. And radar tries to show it doing something near Hazleton. If it's not yet, it will soon. Same for you, Glen Lyon, Nanacoke, Mackinac, and Wapwallopin, snowing there pretty soon as the system moves in. I want to show you the kind of whole shebang here. Is it's a very fast-moving ordeal. All right, so even where it is snowing, I mean, it's snowing at rates of like 1 to 2 inches an hour. It's only going to do that for a couple hours. This thing is humming right along, so it won't be here for the morning drive. All that will be left will be the remnants. So unless you live in like on these rural mountain roads, these dirt roads, things for a lot of us are going to be a-okay tomorrow morning. So here's future clouds and radar. So it's doing a pretty good job, I would say, this high resolution version of where it's at now and kind of where things are headed. And you can see things are trending in a snowy direction only if you're basically along and south of I-80. North of that, not a lot going on here later tonight. Sure, in the valley cities, we'll see a little something, a little rain-snow mix, but not much doing unless you're in the southern valley cities. Maybe a different ball game there. Future clouds and radar shows some decent snow, again, right along 80 and south in this particular shot, lighter stuff north, and this is out of here. By like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, the steady stuff is done. Maybe some flurries around 7:30 tomorrow morning. So when's it snowing heaviest? Well, pretty much now, central Pennsylvania, already doing it in portions of Lycoming and Clinton counties. These are snowfall rates per hour. That's what the numbers mean. So you're talking about an inch of snow an hour at Williamsport around 11 o'clock tonight. Bop you up to midnight, Hazleton area, snowing hard. Same for you, McAdoo. Probably in northern, near like Summit Hill in Carbon County too. Probably just outside of Jim Thorpe. Snowing real good around midnight. Still snowing pretty good around 1 o'clock in the morning or so. And I think things are going to wrap up, again, after 3 o'clock tomorrow morning. I think anything that's left is flurries. So morning drive time, you don't have to drive through anything still falling. It'll just be a matter of getting the stuff cleaned up from the night before. It's going to be a heavy, wet snow, too. Sorry I didn't mention that earlier. This is a heavy, wet snow. I mean, when we talk about those snow to liquid ratios, the SLRs as they're known, anything, around 12 inches of snow to an inch of rain and more, it's kind of fluffier snow. You get under that, it starts to get heavier. We're talking about 8 inches of snow to 1 inch of liquid of rain. That's the equivalent here tonight. That's a heavy, wet, dense snow. So that 4 to 6 inches is going to be a heavy, wet snow. And we do have some wind that's going to be whipping up tomorrow. A little concerned about that. Maybe some power outages potentially. If you get in one of these areas that gets, 5-6 inches of snow tonight, just want to show you quickly what these winds are going to be doing tomorrow. We're talking about some gusts, maybe up to like 45 miles an hour. Now, the good news here, it doesn't arrive until later in the day. All right, so the snow will do some compacting and already kind of falling off some of the tree limbs and the power lines. But again, you're talking wind gusts tomorrow afternoon, 45 miles an hour. Any snow that's left over in some of these trees, some of the big pine trees and stuff, could be some limbs down, potential for some power outages too, as we get some of those real strong wind gusts. Thanks a lot for, again, checking out this live update here on YouTube, our Facebook page, our app. Happy to have you along. One last look again. It's a very thin strip of snow, and if you were watching at 7, it's already changed again. And this has been the concern kind of all day, is just where this, this thin strip of snow is going to set up. And it's going to be a very narrow corridor. Who gets a fair amount of snow, half a foot of snow, and then not far away, you're talking about nothing. So it's a very tricky forecast and one that we're really trying to nail down. And you get the gist here. In fact, this is another update that just came in too. I can tell because Lopez, last time we did this, was at 2 inches, now just an inch more. So again, you can see that thin strip of who's going to be seeing those 4, 5, 6 inch amounts, and not far away. It's not a lot at all. So when you wake up in Archibald tomorrow, and all right, don't call in wondering where the snow is, okay? I mean, not a lot of miles between you and who's finding a whole bunch. It's going to be a very, again, narrow corridor of snow. Tricky not only to forecast, but also to just tell you about and try to convince you, hey, look, you're not going to have to go far from where you're finding a whole bunch to where you're not finding anything at all in the way of accumulation. Just kind of the way the storm's going. So it's about 9:35, 9:36 here on your Monday night. Again, thanks for checking us out and doing this live update. We'll be on with you tonight at 10 and 11 with some conditions report. We got Jack out there. I'll see if we got that kid a hat yet. It's going to be windy and cold, and he's got the snow flying. No hat for him usually, but we'll see if we can wrangle up wrestle up a hat for him. I'll be in the backyard. We'll see what's doing here. And we've got your other news of the day with Scott and Sports 2. So we'll see you tonight at 10 on WNEP2 and on 11